When Talia found the boy half buried in snow, she thought he was already gone. It wasn't until she brushed the frost from his face that his eyes opened, pale gold, wild with terror. His right hand was misshapen in a way that made her chest ache. Later, she would learn that this hand marked him as the lost heir to the Alpha King, and that powerful people would kill to keep that secret buried. But in that moment, all she knew was that someone had left a child to freeze, and she was the only one angry enough to do something about it. The blizzard had teeth. Talia felt them in every gust that tore through her coat, in the ice crystals forming on her eyelashes, in the creeping numbness that had claimed her toes and was now working on her ankles. 2 days since her banishment. 2 days of walking with nothing but spite keeping her upright. Alpha Byron's parting words still echoed. You stole from the pack stores for a stranger. That's betrayal. The stranger had been a rogue with an infected wound and a fever-sick daughter who'd begged Talia to help. The theft had been bandages and willow bark tea. Apparently, basic human decency was a capital offense in her old pack. Talia had stopped feeling her fingers an hour ago, but Stormcrest territory was supposedly another 8 miles northeast, and rumor had it they didn't execute outcast Omegas just for existing. Low bar, but she'd take it. She was mentally composing her own eulogy when she heard it. A cry cut through the wind, high, pained, barely audible over the storm's rage. Talia stopped. Probably just the wind playing tricks. Up here, alone, your mind started inventing sounds. But there it was again. Weaker this time, but definitely real. She changed direction, struggling through drifts that reached her thighs. Her legs screamed in protest, but that cry, it sounded young, terrified. She found him half buried in snow at the base of a rocky outcropping, probably blown there by the wind. He couldn't have been older than 7. Blonde hair plastered to his skull, lips colorless, eyes squeezed shut like he was willing himself to disappear. One small hand was pressed against his chest. The other, Talia's stomach dropped. His right hand was wrong. The bones fused at odd angles, fingers curled inward and immobile, twisted from the wrist down like something had interrupted their formation in the womb. A birth defect. The kind some packs called the weakness, showing itself early. Hey, Talia breathed. The boy's eyes snapped open. For a heartbeat, they just stared at each other, her kneeling in the snow, him trapped and terrified. Then he tried to push himself backward with his good hand, and the sound he made when his bad hand scraped against stone was pure animal fear. Wait, don't. Talia reached out instinctively, then froze when he flinched so hard he cracked his head against the rock. I'm not going to hurt you. The boy didn't believe her. She could see it in every rigid line of his small body, in the way he was trying to make himself smaller, trying to hide the deformed hand behind his back, even though the movement clearly caused him pain. Please, he whispered. I'll be quiet. I won't be trouble. What's your name? She asked, keeping her voice soft. He hesitated, like even his name might be used against him. Ash. Ash. She sat back on her heels, making herself less threatening. I'm Talia. I heard you and I came to help. Help? The word came out strange, like he didn't quite understand it. Yeah. Help. As in, get you somewhere warm. She looked at the sky, at the way the storm was intensifying. We need to move. Can you walk? Ash's face crumpled. He held up his twisted hand. Can't. They said I'm too slow, that I can't do anything right with this. Who said that? Everyone. His voice was small. My pack. They brought me here because... He trailed off, tears freezing on his cheeks. Talia's jaw clenched so hard her teeth ached. Because of your hand? He nodded miserably. Well, they're terrible. She stood up, shrugging off her pack. And they're wrong. Your hand doesn't make you useless, Ash. It just makes you different. But I can't hunt, can't fight, can't even hold things right. Can you hold on? When he looked confused, she gestured to her back. If I carry you, can you hold on with your good arm? His eyes went huge. You want to carry me? Yeah, I promise I won't drop you. And it'll be warmer than staying here, Ash. What do you say? But I'm heavy. Everyone says, people say a lot of dumb things. Talia crouched down with a smile. Come on, buddy. We're losing daylight, and I'd really like to not die today. Ash stared at her like she'd offered him something incomprehensible. Then slowly, he climbed onto her back. He was lighter than she'd expected. Too light, actually. The kind of light that came from missed meals and a body that had given up on growing. His good arm wrapped around her neck. His twisted hand rested awkwardly against her shoulder, and she could feel him trying to keep it from touching her too much, like even that contact was something to be ashamed of. You can relax, Talia said, standing. Her already tired legs protested immediately, but she ignored them. I'm not going anywhere without you. Why? The question was barely audible. You don't even know me, because no kid deserves to freeze to death alone, especially not one as adorable as you. Ash didn't answer, but his grip tightened, and Talia felt something wet against her neck that wasn't snow. His small shoulders were trembling with each silent sob. Before we continue, please take 2 seconds to like this video if you want more stories like this. She started walking. The first hour was brutal. Wind tore at them from every direction, and the temperature kept dropping. Talia's legs burned with each step, her muscles screaming under Ash's weight. Not that he was heavy, he really wasn't, but carrying anything for miles in these conditions would break down even the strongest person. You okay back there? She called over the wind. I'm cold, Ash mumbled. I know. Me too. But we gotta keep moving, understand? If we stop, we could die out here. She felt him nod against her shoulder. The second hour, her toes went completely numb. The third hour, she started having trouble seeing clearly. The world had become nothing but white. White snow, white sky, white noise of wind that seemed determined to bury them both. Talia. Ash's voice was getting quieter. Can I ask you something? Sure, buddy. Do you think I'm bad? Is that why they left me? Talia's chest constricted. No, Ash. You're not bad. The people who left you, they're the bad ones. You're just a kid. But your hand is part of you. It doesn't make you good or bad. It just is. She adjusted her grip, pushing through another drift. The people who judge you for it? They're the ones with the problem, not you. Then why does everyone look at me like I'm bad? Because people are scared of things that are different. It makes them uncomfortable. So instead of dealing with their own fear, they push it onto you. Make it your problem instead of theirs. Ash was quiet for a moment. That's mean. Yeah, it is. You don't do that, Talia. I try not to. Talia's voice softened. I know what it's like to be pushed aside, Ash. To be told you're not enough. My whole life, I've been told that being Omega means being less. That I should be grateful for scraps and keep my mouth shut when I see injustice. She pushed through another gust of wind. So no, I don't look at you and see something wrong. I look at you and see a kid who's survived things he shouldn't have had to survive. That takes a ton of strength. I'm not strong, I'm weak. Strength isn't about how much you can lift or how fast you can run. It's about getting back up when the world knocks you down. And kid, you've gotten back up more times than most adults I know. She felt him burrow closer against her neck. Talia? Yeah? I'm glad you found me. Her throat went tight. Me too, Ash. Me too. By hour 4, Talia was stumbling. Her legs kept trying to give out, and she'd fallen twice, both times managing to catch herself on one knee, protecting Ash from the impact. But she couldn't keep this up much longer. Her body was shutting down, hypothermia creeping in despite her natural resistance to cold. Ash had gone quiet for an unsettling period of time. "Ash," she said, her voice slurring slightly. "I need you to stay awake. Can you do that?" No response. "Ash." She jostled him slightly, panic spiking. "Come on, kid, talk to me." "Tired," he mumbled. "I know, but you can't sleep. Not yet. Tell me a story. Tell me about—" She searched for something. Anything. "Tell me about your favorite thing. What makes you happy?" Nothing. The word was so small, so certain, that Talia's heart ached for him. He couldn't be more than 6 or 7. He should have a dozen favorite things. 100. Instead, he had nothing, because the world had taught him he deserved nothing. There has to be something. "What about before they left you? What did you like then?" A long pause. Then softly, "Birds. I liked watching birds." "Yeah? What kind?" "All kinds. But mostly the hawks. They can fly anywhere they want. Nobody tells them they can't." Talia's eyes burned, and despite her best effort, a tear slipped free, warm against her frozen cheek. "That's a good thing to like, Ash. When we get somewhere safe, I'll help you watch for hawks. Deal? You promise?" "I promise. But you have to stay awake for me. Can you do that?" "I'll try." "Good boy." She kept walking, one foot in front of the other. Her body moved on autopilot, driven by sheer, stubborn will. She'd carried this child for 4 hours through hell. She wasn't about to fail him now. Then, through the whiteout, like an answer to a prayer, she saw shapes. Large shapes, moving with purpose through the blinding snow. Wolves. Talia's legs finally gave out. She hit her knees hard, still, clutching Ash, and looked up to see 3 massive patrol wolves circling them, and behind them, a man. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with dark hair and features that would have made her look twice even if she weren't half frozen. But it was his eyes that caught her. Winter gray, sharp with intelligence and something that might have been concern, framed by dark lashes. Unfairly attractive for someone finding her in a snowstorm. An alpha. She could feel it in the way her wolf instinctively tried to lower its head, in the raw power that radiated from him. "We're on your territory," Talia managed, her voice barely audible over the wind. "Stormcrest, right? I'm seeking sanctuary. The kid, he needs help, please." The alpha's gaze moved from her to Ash, and his entire body went rigid. His eyes locked onto the boy's twisted hand, visible where it rested limply against Talia's shoulder, and something strange flickered across his face. Not revulsion or pity, but maybe something like recognition, swift and startled. "Where did you find him?" His voice was low, urgent in a way that made Talia's instincts prickle. "About 13 miles south. Maybe more. Someone left him to die." The alpha's jaw clenched. Then he was moving, closing the distance in 3 long strides. He reached for Ash, but Talia's arms tightened protectively on instinct. "I can carry him," the alpha said. His tone was gentle despite the authority in it. "You're about to collapse." "I'm okay. I can do it. You're hypothermic. Your lips are blue and you're shaking so hard you can barely hold him." He crouched down to her level. "Let me help. Please." There was something in his eyes, genuine concern, not the dismissive pity she was used to from alphas. Talia's body made the decision for her, her arms loosening as exhaustion won out. The alpha lifted Ash with a gentleness that didn't match his size, cradling the boy against his broad chest like he was made of glass. Ash made a small sound of protest, his good hand reaching back toward Talia. "Talia," he whimpered. "I'm right here, Ash," she said, forcing herself to stand even though her legs wailed in protest. "I'm not going anywhere. I promised. Remember?" The Alpha's eyes met hers, and something passed between them. An understanding, perhaps, or the first stirring of something neither of them could name yet. "I'm Tyler," he said. "Alpha of Stormcrest. You're both under my protection now. I'm Talia. And that's Ash. Can you walk?" "I can try." Tyler shifted Ash to one arm. The boy weighed nothing to him and offered his free hand to Talia. She stared at it for a moment. Alphas from her old pack never offered hands to Omegas. They gave orders and expected obedience. But Tyler just waited, patient, his hand steady. Talia took it. His grip was warm, strong, and when he helped her to her feet, he didn't let go. Instead, he kept hold of her hand as they started walking, like he understood that she needed the anchor, the reminder that she wasn't alone anymore. Why, Pack House appeared through the storm like a miracle. Stone walls, warm light spilling from windows, the promise of safety. Talia's legs finally gave out on the steps, but Tyler caught her before she hit the ground. "I've got you," he said. "Both of you. I've got you." And despite every instinct that told her not to trust Alphas, not to trust anyone, Talia felt safe. Talia woke to warmth and the smell of herbs. She was in a bed, an actual bed with clean sheets and thick blankets, and for a moment she couldn't remember where she was or how she'd gotten there. Then it all came rushing back. The blizzard. Ash. Tyler. Ash. She sat up too fast, the room spinning. Easy. A woman's voice, calm and authoritative. "The boy is fine. He's in the next room, being examined by our healer." Talia focused on the speaker. She was maybe 50, with silver-streaked auburn hair and sharp green eyes. There was something about her bearing that spoke of authority, not the aggressive dominance of an alpha, but the quiet confidence of someone who knew their worth. "Who are you?" "Iris. I'm the head healer here." She moved closer, checking Talia's eyes with professional efficiency. "You had moderate hypothermia. We've been warming you slowly for the past few hours. You'll be sore for a few days, and you've got some frostbite on your toes, but you'll recover. I need to see Ash. He's right through that door. But first, you need to drink this." Iris handed her a cup of something that smelled like pine and honey. "It'll help with the inflammation." Talia drank it in 3 gulps, barely tasting it. "Is he really okay?" "He will be. He was closer to critical than you were. Another hour and we'd be having a different conversation. But he's resilient." Iris's expression softened. "He keeps asking for you. Won't let anyone touch him without checking that you're still here." Relief flooded through Talia. "Can I see him?" "In a moment. First, I need to ask you some questions." Iris pulled up a chair. "Where did you find him?" "In a snowdrift, about 13 miles south of here. Maybe more. I don't know, I wasn't exactly tracking distance. And his hand? He was born with it. His pack..." Talia's voice hardened. His pack decided that made him disposable. They left him to die. Iris's jaw tightened. "Do you know which pack?" "No. He didn't say. He was too scared, too cold. I just focused on getting him somewhere safe. You carried him 13 miles in a blizzard. It wasn't a question." "Yes." "Why?" Talia met her eyes. "Because he needed help. No child should freeze to death. Because She stopped, trying to find the words. "Because I've been where he is. Not physically, but I know what it's like to be told you're not enough. To be pushed aside because you don't fit someone else's definition of valuable. I wasn't going to do that to him." Iris studied her for a long moment, and then her expression shifted. The guardedness melted away, replaced by something softer. Tyler wants to speak with you. What about? The question came out steadier than she felt. Her stomach twisted into knots, old instincts flaring to life. Alphas had only ever made her station in life abundantly clear. Omega meant less than. I think that's a conversation you should have with him. Iris stood. But for what it's worth, what you did was extraordinary. Most wolves wouldn't have taken on that burden, especially not an Omega who'd just been banished. Talia's breath caught. How do you know I was banished? You have the look and the attitude. Iris smiled slightly. But don't worry, I think you'll fit in here. Before Talia could respond, the door to the adjoining room opened and Ash appeared, flanked by a younger healer. His face lit up when he saw Talia. Talia. He ran to her, his gait uneven, his twisted hand tucked against his chest, but he was moving under his own power. He crashed into her, and she wrapped her arms around him, breathing in the scent of soap and herbs. Hey, Ash, you okay? They gave me medicine and food, and they didn't. His voice dropped to a whisper. They didn't say my hand was bad. They just fixed the other things that were wrong. Talia pulled back to look at him. He'd been cleaned up, dressed in clothes that actually fit, and there was color in his cheeks that hadn't been there before. What other things? Malnutrition, Iris chimed in. Dehydration, some old injuries that hadn't healed poorly. Nothing that can't be corrected with time and proper care. Can we stay here? Ash asked, looking up at Talia with those bright amber eyes. They said okay, but I want to ask you. The fact that he saw her as the one who made decisions about his life made Talia's chest ache. Do you want to stay, Ash? Yeah, it's warm, and nobody looks at me like I'm bad. Then we'll stay. Talia looked at Iris tentatively. If that's allowed, it's allowed. Tyler was very clear about that. Iris gestured to the door. Speaking of which, he's waiting in his study. He'd like to speak with you. Ash can stay here with me. Ash's hand tightened on Talia's shirt. You're coming back, right? I promise. I just need to talk to the Alpha. I'll be back before you know it. Okay. But he didn't let go immediately. Talia? Thank you. For not leaving me. She pulled him into another hug. Thank you for holding on, buddy. You've got a strong grip. Tyler's study was exactly what she'd expected. Large, imposing, filled with books and maps and the kind of furniture that spoke of wealth and power. But Tyler himself was standing by the window when she entered, his back to her, and there was something about his posture that seemed off. Tense in a way that had nothing to do with alpha dominance. You wanted to see me? Talia said, the knots returning to her stomach. Tyler turned. In the lamplight, she could see him clearly for the first time. He was younger than she'd initially thought, early 30s maybe, with strong features and those striking gray eyes. Handsome, undeniably so. But it was the way he looked at her that caught her breath, an intensity that made her skin prickle with awareness. How are you feeling? He asked. Sore, tired, alive. She crossed her arms. But I'm guessing that's not why you called me here? Please sit. Tyler gestured to a chair. That's okay. I'll stand. Suit yourself. Though if you collapse from exhaustion, I'm not catching you. A hint of a smile as he leaned against the desk. Iris told me you carried Ash through a blizzard, that you were already banished, yet still took on the burden of a disabled child you didn't know. He's not a burden. He's a kid. Her words came out harder than she intended, her temper sparking. Most wolves wouldn't see it that way. Then most wolves are assholes. Tyler laughed, short and genuine, his whole face lighting up. Agreed, I like your spunk. But then his features settled into something more serious. I need to ask you about Ash, about his hand specifically. Talia's instincts prickled. Why? Because I've been searching for a child with a hand like that for 6 years, and until tonight, I didn't know why. The words hung in the air between them. What are you saying? Talia asked slowly. I'm saying that I think Ash might be my son. Talia stared at him. That's impossible. Is it? Tyler moved to a cabinet, pulling out a leather-bound journal. 6 years ago, my mate died in childbirth. The baby, my son, was born with a malformed hand. The pack elders said it was a sign of weakness in the bloodline. They pressured me to make a decision, to either accept the child's disability or acknowledge that he wasn't fit to be heir. What did you decide? I don't remember. The admission seemed to pain him. That's the problem, Talia. I have memories of the birth, of holding my son for the first time, of seeing his hand and feeling... He stopped, his jaw working. I remember feeling love, pure, uncomplicated love. And then, nothing. A blank space where the next 6 years should be. I know I had a son, but I can't remember his face, his name, anything about him beyond that first moment. Talia's mind raced. Are you saying someone took your memories? That's what I've been told. Powerful magic, the kind that doesn't happen by accident. Tyler opened the journal, showing her sketches of a baby's hand, twisted at the wrist, fingers curled inward. I've been searching based on these drawings, on the reports of healers who were present at the birth. But without my memory, I've found nothing. Until tonight. When you saw Ash, when I saw his hand, and felt... Tyler's hands clenched on the desk. Something, like a door opening in my mind. Memories trying to surface but not quite making it through. Talia processed this. You think someone cursed you? Took your son and made you forget him? Yes. Why would they do that? I don't know. But I intend to find out. Tyler looked at her. In the meantime, I need to ask. Did Ash say anything about where he came from? He said his pack left him because of his hand, that they told him he was useless, that he'd slow everyone down. But he didn't give me a name or location. That's not much to go on. No, but Tyler... Talia moved closer, her voice dropping. If someone went to the trouble of cursing you and taking your son, I doubt they'll want him found. Bringing him here, revealing that he might be your heir, that puts a target on his back. I know. Tyler's eyes were hard, which is why no one can know about this yet. Not until I figure out who's behind it and why. Can I trust you to keep this quiet? You're asking if I'll protect him. I'm asking if you'll help me protect him. Because whoever you save tonight, whether he's my son or just a child in need, he's under my protection now. And I don't let go of what's mine. I'll help, Talia said, but I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for Ash. Because he deserves better than what he's gotten so far. Fair enough. Tyler held out his hand. Partners, then, in keeping him safe. Talia looked at the offered hand. This was a mistake. Getting involved with an alpha, with a mystery that involved magic and missing memories, all of it screamed danger. She could hear her mother's gentle voice in her head. Alphas will break your heart, baby girl. Pack politics will chew you up. Stay invisible. Stay safe. That's how people like us survive. But when she thought of Ash's face, of the way he'd looked at her like she was the only safe thing in his world, she took Tyler's hand. The contact sent a jolt through her, unexpected and electric. Her wolf stirred, lifting its head with interest. and she felt his wolf respond in kind, a brush of awareness that shouldn't have been possible through a simple handshake. Tyler's eyes widened slightly, like he felt it too. For a moment, they just stood there, hands clasped, something unspoken building between them. Then Talia pulled away, her heart beating faster than it should. I should get back to Ash. He worries when I'm gone too long. Good idea. Tyler's voice was rougher than before. Your rooms are ready. 2 bedrooms, a shared living space. Anything you need, just ask. You've been very generous. We don't need more charity, she said softly. It's not charity. It's... He stopped, seeming to search for words. It's me taking care of what matters. And you both matter. Talia didn't know what to say to that, so she just nodded and left, her hand still tingling from where Tyler had touched it. The next morning, Talia woke to find Ash's bed empty and panic spiking through her chest. She ran out the door in seconds, following his scent through the corridors of the pack house until she heard voices from outside. Like this? Ash's voice, uncertain but eager. Exactly. You're a natural. Tyler's voice, patient and encouraging. Talia found them in the training yard. Tyler was crouched beside Ash, helping him hold a wooden practice sword. The boy's twisted hand couldn't grip the hilt properly, but Tyler had fashioned a leather strap that secured it to his forearm instead. The strength doesn't come from your grip, Tyler was saying. It comes from your core, your stance. The sword is just an extension of your body. You work with what you have, understand? Ash nodded seriously and swung the practice sword. It was clumsy, uncoordinated, but Tyler didn't laugh or correct him harshly. He just adjusted Ash's stance slightly and had him try again. Better. Much better. Try once more. What if I can't get it right? Then you'll get it wrong until you figure out your own way of doing it right. Tyler's voice was firm. There's no single correct way to hold a sword, Ash. Just the way that works for you. Talia's chest tightened. An alpha like Tyler had no reason to spend his morning teaching a disabled child to fight. But here he was, patient and kind, treating Ash like he was worth the time. He's been out here for an hour, Iris said, appearing beside Talia. The healer had a knowing look on her face, wouldn't let the boy quit, but wouldn't push too hard either. He's good with him. Yeah, he is. Talia's voice came out rough. She couldn't stop watching them, the easy patience Tyler showed, the way Ash's face lit up with each small success. I suppose some bonds don't need memory, Iris said softly. Maybe his wolf recognizes what his mind doesn't. Before Talia could respond, Ash spotted her. The smile that blazed across his small face, bright and fragile and still tinged with disbelief, pulled at her heart. He waved with his good hand. Talia, look, I'm learning to fight, I see that. Looking good, buddy. Tyler straightened, his eyes meeting hers across the yard. Even from a distance, she felt the impact of his gaze, the intensity, the interest, the spark she wasn't ready to acknowledge. He's a quick learner, Tyler said, walking over with Ash at his side. Strong instincts. He's determined. Talia reached out to ruffle Ash's hair. Though I'm not sure teaching him combat is necessary. Everyone should know how to defend themselves, even, especially, those who've been told they can't. What if someone sees a disabled kid with a sword and decides he's a threat? Then they'll have to go through me. Tyler's voice was casual, but there was steel underneath. Anyone who threatens him answers to me, directly. Ash looked between them, confused and worried. Are you fighting? No, Talia said quickly. Just discussing training philosophy. You guys looked like you were having a staring contest. Ash grinned sheepishly, then turned to Tyler. Can we practice more tomorrow? Absolutely. But first, breakfast. Iris tells me you need to gain weight, and I happen to know the kitchen just made honey cakes. Honey cakes? Ash's eyes went wide. I've never had honey cakes. Then today's your lucky day. Come on, bud. Tyler started toward the pack house, and Ash followed eagerly. But before he got too far, Ash looked back at Talia. You coming? She smiled. Yeah, buddy. I'm coming. As they walked together, the three of them, an unlikely unit, Talia caught Tyler watching her. Not with suspicion or assessment, but with something warmer. Something that made her pulse quicken despite her better judgment. She knew this was dangerous. Getting close to an alpha had only led her to banishment. But looking at Ash's happy face, at the way he was growing to trust Tyler, maybe some risks were worth taking. The days settled into a rhythm. She spent her mornings with Tyler in the training yard, teaching Ash not just combat, but confidence. Afternoons with Iris, learning about healing herbs and medicines. Evenings with just Ash, reading bedtime stories and listening to him whisper about the hawks he'd seen or how Tyler said he was getting stronger. She noticed he was hiding his twisted hand less, though he still grew quiet when new people stared. But his good hand always found hers before he drifted off to sleep. Ash thrived. He gained weight. His movements became more confident, and slowly, painfully slowly, he started to believe that maybe he got to stay this time, that maybe no one was going to decide he was too much trouble and abandon him again. And Talia tried not to notice how Tyler's presence made her heart race, tried not to see the way he looked at her when he thought she wasn't watching, tried not to feel the pull between them, magnetic and undeniable. She failed spectacularly. It was small things at first. Tyler bringing her tea when she was working with Iris, his hand on her lower back as they walked through crowded corridors, the way he listened when she talked, really listened, like her opinions mattered. You're staring, Iris said one afternoon as Talia watched Tyler spar with some pack warriors. I'm observing. You're imagining what he looks like under that shirt. Talia's face heated. I am not. It's okay to be attracted to him, you know. He's an attractive man. And more importantly, he's a good man. He's an alpha. And you're an omega? So what? Iris mixed herbs with practiced efficiency. Those designations only mean as much as we let them. Tyler doesn't care that you're omega. He cares that you carried his probable son through a blizzard and didn't ask for anything in return. We don't know if Ash is his son, don't we? Iris gave her a pointed look. That boy has Tyler's eyes, same shade of gold, and the way Tyler acts around him, protective, proud, gentle, that's not just kindness, that's instinct. Talia watched Tyler laugh at something one of the warriors said. He looked younger when he laughed, less burdened. Well, if Ash is his son, then someone powerful took him away. What happens when that someone realizes we found him? Then we fight. Iris's voice was matter-of-fact, unwavering. That's what pack means, Talia. We protect our own. I'm not pack, she said quietly. Aren't you? Iris smiled. You've been here 3 weeks, Talia. You work in my healing rooms. You train with the warriors. You eat with the pack. And Tyler? She paused meaningfully. Tyler looks at you like you already belong to him. He doesn't. He does. And unless I'm completely misreading things, you look at him the same way. Talia didn't have a response to that, because Iris was right, and that terrified her more than any curse. But fear, as it turned out, was the least of her worries. The attack came on the new moon, 3 weeks after their arrival. Talia was in the market with Ash, letting him pick out fabric for new clothes. He'd been chattering about a book Iris had given him, animated in a way that still surprised her. This was what he should have been all along, a happy, normal kid. She didn't see the attacker until the knife was already arcing toward Ash's back. Her wolf instincts took over. Talia shoved Ash behind her and caught the blade with her forearm, feeling it slice through skin and muscle. Pain exploded up her arm, but she stayed upright, stayed between Ash and the threat. The attacker was masked, dressed in anonymous traveling clothes. He lunged again, but this time Talia was ready. Her wolf surged forward, lending her strength she shouldn't have had as an Omega. She caught his wrist, twisted hard, and his knife clattered to the ground. Then she drove her shoulder into his chest and used his momentum to send him crashing into a market stall. "Run!" she shouted at Ash, but Ash was frozen, staring at the blood streaming down her arm with wide, terrified eyes. The attacker scrambled up, reaching for another weapon. Talia kicked him in the ribs, heard something crack. Then she felt hands pulling her back, a swarm of pack guards, warriors, taking control. Someone was asking if she was okay, but all she could focus on was Ash. "Hey." She dropped to her knees in front of him, her good hand cupping his face. "I'm okay, see? Just a scratch. You're bleeding." His voice shook. "You're bleeding a lot. I've had worse. Come here." Ash fell into her arms, trembling. She held him, tight, ignoring the way her arm howled in protest. Then Tyler was there. She heard a snarl rumble from his chest as he dropped to his knees beside them. When she looked up, his face had gone deadly still. His eyes tracked the blood coating her arm, the way Ash clung to her and sobbed, and something cold and merciless flickered behind his gaze, his wolf demanding retribution. "Take her to Iris," he ordered the guards. Then to the ones restraining the attacker. "Bring him to my study. Now." The interrogation was brutal and efficient. Tyler had ways of making people talk, and the attacker, a hired mercenary with no loyalty beyond gold, broke within an hour. By the time Iris finished stitching Talia's arm, the truth had come out. "He was hired to kill Ash," Tyler said. He'd come to the healing room personally, his presence filling the small space. Ash was asleep on a cot nearby, exhausted from fear. By someone who doesn't want him to stay here. "Why?" Talia asked, though she already knew. "Because bringing him here triggered something. Started breaking whatever curse keeps my memories locked away." Tyler's hands clenched. "Someone powerful enough to curse me is trying to keep us apart, and they're willing to kill a child to do it. Then we need to find them first." "We?" Tyler's eyes found hers. "Talia, this isn't your fight. That's my kid someone just tried to murder." The words came out before she could stop them. My kid. When had she started thinking of Ash that way? But Tyler didn't look surprised. "He is, isn't he? Yours. You've claimed him in every way that matters. I'm not his mother. I'm just..." She was at a loss for words. "You carried him through a blizzard. You've protected him, cared for him, made him feel safe for the first time in his life. If that doesn't make you his mother, I don't know what does." Tyler moved closer. "And if Ash is my son, which I'm increasingly certain he is, then that makes you..." He trailed off, but the unspoken words hung in the air, between them. If Ash was Tyler's son, and Talia had claimed Ash as hers, then what did that make them to each other? "We need to focus on finding who's behind this," Talia said, her voice not quite steady. "Before they send someone more competent." "Agreed." But Tyler didn't move away. Instead, he reached out, his fingers brushing her bandaged arm. "You were hurt protecting him. I wasn't going to let anyone touch him." "I know. And that's..." Tyler's voice dropped. "That's one of the most remarkable things I've ever seen. The way you fight for him. The way you don't hesitate, don't question. You just act. Someone has to. It should have been me. The words broke on a ragged breath, his composure finally crumbling. I should have been the one protecting him all along. I should have. You didn't know. The curse. The curse is breaking. Talia Tyler's eyes were intense. Every day I remember a little more. The way he smelled when he was born. The sound of his first cry. The feel of his twisted hand in mine, and the absolute certainty that he was perfect exactly as he was. His voice roughened. I loved him, Talia. I loved my son. And someone made me forget. Talia saw the pain in his eyes, guilt and grief and rage all tangled together. Without thinking, she reached up and touched his face. Then we'll make sure whoever did this pays. Together. Tyler's hand came up to cover hers, pressing it against his skin. His eyes darkened. Together. The moment stretched, charged with possibility. Tyler's gaze dropped to her mouth and lingered there, hungry, conflicted, burning. Talia's breath caught in her throat. She could feel the heat of him, the barely restrained tension coiled in his body. He leaned in, just slightly, close enough that she could feel the warmth radiating from him, close enough that if she tilted her head just so. But before either of them could close the gap, Ash stirred on the cot, mumbling in his sleep. Tyler pulled back, though his hand stayed wrapped around hers for one more heartbeat before letting go. I should go. I have people to interrogate, leads to follow. Tyler, get some rest. Both of you. I'll have guards posted outside your door. He left before she could say anything else, and Talia was left standing there, her heart pounding and her lips tingling from a kiss that never happened. The witch came 3 nights later, appearing in the throne room like she'd been summoned. Talia had been in the library with Ash, reading him stories about hawks and freedom when the summons came. Tyler wanted them both in the throne room immediately. They found him standing before a woman who radiated power like a living storm. She was tall, sharp-featured, with gray eyes and an expression of cold fury. "Hello, brother," the woman said. Tyler's face went pale. "Sienna, it's been a long time. You remember me. How wonderful." Sienna's voice dripped with sarcasm. "The curse must be breaking faster than I anticipated." "You did this?" he asked in disbelief, already knowing the answer. "You took my son. You made me forget." "I did." Sienna's gaze moved to Ash, and something flickered in her eyes. Not hatred, but something more complicated. Though I see he managed to survive despite my best efforts to ensure otherwise. Talia moved instinctively, putting herself between Sienna and Ash. "You're not touching him." "Relax, Omega. I'm not here to harm the boy." Sienna's attention shifted to Talia, assessing. "So you're the one who carried him through the blizzard, the one who saved him when I'd left him to die." "You left him?" Talia's voice shook with rage. "You left a 7-year-old child to freeze to death? A 7-year-old heir to the bloodline that destroyed my life." Sienna's expression hardened. "Do you know what Tyler did, little Omega? Do you know why I cursed him?" "Sienna," Tyler started. "Our mother was named Ilara," Sienna continued, ignoring him. "A powerful witch who made the mistake of bearing a child with a disability. Me. I was born deaf and unable to speak the pack bonds. Tyler's father, our father, declared that I couldn't possibly be his blood, that Ilara must have slept with someone cursed." Tyler's eyes closed with a weary sigh. "I know. I remember now. Do you remember watching her burn? Because I do. I was 6 years old, and I watched our father execute her for adultery, for the crime of producing an imperfect child." Sienna's voice was ice. "And you were 18, old enough to speak for us, old enough to challenge him. But you said nothing, Tyler. You stood by and let them kill her." The words hit Tyler like physical blows. I was a coward. You were complicit. Sienna moved closer, power crackling around her. So yes, I cursed you. I made sure your son would be born with a disability, just like me. I made sure you'd forget him, lose him, understand what it felt like to have something precious stolen away. He was innocent, Tyler said, his voice breaking. My son was innocent, Sienna. He didn't deserve, neither did I, and neither did our mother Sienna's composure cracked. But we suffered anyway. So yes, I wanted you to suffer too. I wanted you to know what it was like. Ash had been silent through all of this, pressed against Talia's side. Now he spoke, his voice small. You're my aunt? Sienna looked at him, and something in her expression shifted. I suppose I am. Are you going to hurt us? No. The word came out softer than before. No, I'm not going to hurt you. Then why are you here? Talia demanded. I'm here to warn you. The curse is breaking, and there are others who don't want that to happen. Sienna pulled out a rolled parchment and tossed it to Tyler. The pack elders who convinced you that your son should be disposed of. They're planning something. They know the heir has returned. They know Tyler's memories are coming back, and they're terrified of what happens when he remembers everything. Tyler unrolled the parchment, his face darkening as he read. They're planning an assault on Stormcrest. Oh, Ash. They want to finish what they started. Make sure the defective heir never takes the throne. Sienna's voice was bitter. Funny how history repeats itself, isn't it? When? Tyler's voice was deadly calm. Tomorrow night, they're bringing hired mercenaries, rogue packs, anyone willing to fight for gold. Sienna looked at Ash again. I came to warn you, because despite everything, despite my hatred for what you did, Tyler, I think you might have a shot at redeeming yourself. Tyler's throat worked. Sienna, I'm sorry for what I failed to do. I was young and scared and I chose wrong, but I'm not that person anymore. Let me prove it. Let me protect him the way I should have protected you. For a long moment, Sienna was silent. Then, the curse is already broken, you know. It broke the moment you saw Ash and your wolf recognized him despite the missing memories. The moment you chose to protect a disabled child without knowing he was yours. She turned toward the door. What you do now, how you protect him, how you change things, that will determine whether you've truly changed or if you're still the coward who let our mother die. Wait, Tyler called. Stay. Help us fight. This is your fight too. It's not mine. It's your fight and yours alone. Your chance to be better. Sienna paused at the threshold and took one final look at Ash. Then she was gone, leaving only the scent of magic and old pain. They had until dawn to prepare. Tyler mobilized the entire pack, every warrior, every able-bodied wolf. Iris fortified the healing rooms. Talia held Ash and tried not to let him see her fear. Are they coming for me? Ash asked quietly. There was no point in lying. Yes. Ash went very still. Then his voice came out small and broken. I should go. I should leave so no one gets hurt. His twisted hand curled protectively against his chest, that old shame creeping back into his posture. My hand. It's bad. That's why they left me before. Maybe they were right. Maybe I'm not supposed to. No. Talia's voice was fierce but gentle. She pulled back just enough to look him in the eyes, her own vision blurring. Your hand is not bad. It's not wrong. And anyone who made you feel that way was cruel and blind. She took both his hands in hers, holding them with equal tenderness. You know what I see when I look at these hands? I see a boy who held on through a blizzard, who learned to swing a sword in his own special way, who turns pages in books and pets wolves and holds tight when he's scared. These are the hands of someone strong and brave and absolutely perfect exactly as he is. Her voice softened. They're coming because they're terrified of what you represent, that their narrow view of the world is wrong, that strength comes in all forms, but they're not getting through us. Not me, not Tyler, not this pack that already loves you. You're not going anywhere, Ash. You're already home. Ash's lip trembled, but he nodded. He wrapped his arms around her neck and whispered, against her shoulder, "Thank you for keeping me." Tyler found them an hour before dawn. The elders are approaching from the south with about 40 mercenaries. We're outnumbered, but we have the advantage of terrain and preparation. "Where do you need me?" Talia asked. "In the safe room with Ash." "Not happening. I can fight." "Talia, I'm not hiding while you protect my son." Her words came out fierce, possessive. "I'm fighting beside you." Tyler's eyes blazed. "You're right. He's your son. Yes, mine. Ours." She held his gaze. "If you're his father and I'm his mother, then we face this together. As a family." Something shifted in Tyler's expression. Recognition, acceptance, and underneath it all, unconditional love. "Then we fight together." He kneeled down to look at Ash. "You stay with Iris in the healing rooms, in the most protected part of the compound. Understood?" Ash nodded. "But you'll come back? Both of you?" "I promise," Talia said. "We promise," Tyler echoed. Then, to Talia, "Stay close to me. Don't take unnecessary risks, and if things go badly, they won't. But if they do, you get Ash and you run. You take him far from here and you don't look back. Tyler, please." His hand cupped her face. "Please, Talia. He needs you. More than he needs me. More than he needs this pack. You're his world. So if it comes down to it, you survive for him. Promise me." Talia's vision blurred. "Only if you promise the same." "Deal." Then Tyler kissed her, fierce and desperate and full of everything they hadn't said yet. Talia kissed him back, pouring years of loneliness and fear and hope into it, and when they finally broke apart, they were both breathing hard. "Don't die on me," Talia whispered. "Not planning on it." Tyler pressed his forehead to hers. "I just got my family back. I have a lot to live for." The attack came with the first light of dawn. 40 mercenaries and a dozen rogue wolves, led by 3 pack elders who'd orchestrated this whole nightmare. They hit the southern perimeter hard, expecting to overwhelm with numbers and brutality. They hadn't expected Stormcrest to be ready. Talia fought beside Tyler, their movements synchronizing like they'd been doing this for years. She wasn't a warrior. She'd never trained for combat. But her wolf was ready and her determination absolute. Anyone who tried to get past their line met teeth and claws and fury. "Left flank," Tyler shouted, and Talia pivoted, catching a mercenary who'd slipped through. She took him down hard, her wolf's jaws closing on his shoulder until he screamed submission. The battle raged for what felt like hours. Stormcrest wolves fought with desperate determination, protecting their home, their alpha, their future. Then Talia saw him, one of the elders, breaking away from the main fight and racing toward the compound, toward the healing rooms where Ash was hidden. Tyler. Her scream tore through the night, raw and desperate, but he was surrounded. 3 mercenaries pressing in, blades flashing. He couldn't break free. Talia ran. Her legs burned, her lungs screamed, but she pushed harder, faster. Nothing else mattered. She caught the elder at the healing room door, slamming into him with enough force to send them both crashing into the wall. He was bigger, stronger, an alpha male against an omega female. But Talia had something he didn't, a mother's primal instinct to protect her pup. They fought viciously. His hands closed around her throat, brutal and unrelenting, and the world exploded into white sparks behind Talia's eyes. Gasping, she raked her claws into his ribs, tearing deep. He screamed, the sound raw and feral. "You're protecting a defect," he snarled, "a weakness that will destroy this pack." "He's a child," Talia gasped, "and he's worth 10 of you." She brought her knee up hard, and he stumbled. That's when Tyler appeared, moving like death itself. He grabbed the elder by the throat and slammed him into the stone wall so hard the impact echoed. "You took my son." Tyler's voice was barely human. "Then you cursed me to forget. And when that wasn't enough, you tried to have him killed. Give me one reason I shouldn't end you right now." "He's weak," the elder spat. "Damaged. He'll never—" Tyler's grip tightened. "He's perfect. And he's everything this pack needs. Proof that strength comes in different forms. That disability doesn't mean disposable. That we can be better than what we were. You're a fool. Maybe. But I'm a fool with the power to end you." Talia touched Tyler's arm. "Don't. He's not worth it. Let him live to see Ash thrive. To see everything he was wrong about." For a long moment, Tyler didn't move. Then slowly, he released the elder. "You're banished. All 3 of you. If you ever set foot in my territory again, it will be your final day on Earth." The elder fled with a yelp, and Talia sagged against the wall, bruised throat burning, every muscle aching. Tyler caught her before she fell, his hands unexpectedly gentle after the violence he'd just unleashed. "Are you okay?" "I will be." She looked up at him. "Is it over?" "It's over. The mercenaries are retreating. We won." Relief flooded through her. "Ash, he's safe. Iris has him. Come on." They found Ash in the healing room, whole and unharmed but clearly terrified. He ran to them both, and they caught him together, Tyler and Talia, kneeling on the floor with Ash between them, holding on like they'd never let go. "You came back," Ash whispered. "We promised," Talia said. "We always will," Tyler added. Then he cleared his throat. He looked nervous all of a sudden. "Ash, I need to tell you something. Something I should have told you from the beginning." Ash pulled back, looking at him with those big amber eyes. "You're my father. I know." Tyler's breath caught. "How? I heard you talking. And also," Ash held up his twisted hand, "I look like you. We have the same eyes. And you look at me like—" He trailed off, searching for words. "Like you'd do anything to protect me. That's how fathers are, supposed to look." "Yes," Tyler said, his voice rough with emotion. "That's exactly how fathers are supposed to look. And Ash, I know I wasn't there before. I know I failed you. But I swear, on everything I am, that I will spend the rest of my life making up for that, being the father you deserve." "What about Talia?" Ash asked. She's yours if she wants to be." Tyler looked at her, and the vulnerability in his eyes made Talia's chest ache. "If she'll have us. Both of us." Ash turned to Talia, his expression heartbreakingly hopeful. "Do you want to be my mom? For real?" Talia's vision blurred. "I already am, buddy. I've been yours since the moment I found you in that snowdrift. Nothing's going to ever change that. And you'll stay? Even now that I have a father? Especially now? You think I'm letting Tyler raise you alone? Someone needs to make sure you grow up right." She pulled him close. "You're stuck with me, Ash. Forever." "Good." Ash wrapped his arms around both of them. "I want forever, with both of you." Tyler's hand found Talia's, their fingers intertwining over Ash's head. Forever sounds perfect. The coronation was smaller than tradition demanded, because Tyler had decided that tradition was overrated. Talia stood beside him in the throne room, Ash between them in formal clothes, and the decorative leather brace Iris had designed for his smaller hand. He was fidgeting, but he was smiling, that bright, genuine smile that still made Talia's heart clench. "You ready?" Tyler murmured to her. "To be queen?" "Absolutely not. Too bad. You're already halfway there anyway." He took her hand. "You've been leading beside me for months. This just makes it official." The ceremony was brief. Tyler spoke about change, about building a pack that valued all its members regardless of designation or physical ability. He acknowledged his failures, his cowardice, and his commitment to being better. And then he turned to Talia. "I was cursed to forget what mattered most," he said. "But you brought it all back. You carried my son through a blizzard because it was right. You fought for him when no one else would. You taught me what real strength looks like." He took both her hands. "I'm asking you to stand with me, not just as my mate, but as my equal, to lead this pack together, to build something better than what came before." Talia looked at Ash, who was grinning so hard his face might split, then at Tyler, at the love and hope and promise in his eyes. "Yes," she said, "but I'm keeping my opinions, all of them. I wouldn't want it any other way." The kiss was gentle, appropriate for public viewing, but the promise in it, of passion and partnership and belonging, that was just for them. Later, after the formal celebrations died down, they walked the ramparts together. Ash ran ahead, pointing out hawks in the distance with his good hand, his leather brace glinting in the sunset. He'd been training with the warriors, learning to fight in his own way, studying healing with Iris, discovering a gift for it, and most importantly, believing, finally truly believing, that he was worthy of a home, worthy of love. "He's happy," Tyler said, watching their son. "He is." Talia leaned into him, fitting perfectly under his arm. "We all are. I keep thinking about Sienna, about whether she'll ever forgive me. Maybe. Maybe not." Talia looked up at him. "But you're trying to be better. That has to count for something." "I hope so." Tyler pulled her closer. "I want Ash to grow up in a world that's better than the one we had, where disability doesn't mean disposable, where omegas aren't treated as less, where people are valued for who they are, not what they look like." "Then let's build that world together." "Together," he agreed, and kissed her. Slower this time, deeper. A promise and a future. Ash made a gagging sound from down the wall. "Gross. You're always kissing." "Get used to it, Ash," Talia called back. "You're stuck with us. I know." Ash's voice was warm, happy. "That's my favorite part." Tyler's arm tightened around her. Mine too. They stood there as the sun set, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink. Ash was laughing at something, probably making up stories about the hawks he was watching. Tyler was warm and solid beside her. And Talia thought about the girl she'd been 6 months ago, banished, alone, carrying a dying child through a blizzard with no idea where she was going. She'd been searching for sanctuary, for a place that might accept an outcast Omega with nothing to offer. She hadn't known that everything she'd ever wanted was only 13 miles away, that the weight on her back would become the center of her world, that the Alpha who found them in the snow would become the other half of her heart. 13 miles, the distance between losing everything and finding it all. "Hey," Tyler said softly. "What are you thinking about?" Talia smiled. "That I walked 13 miles through hell and somehow ended up in paradise. Any regrets?" "Not a single one." She glanced at Ash, then back at Tyler. "Even the stabbing was worth it." "You have a very concerning definition of worth it. I have a very good reason." She leaned into him. 2 of them, actually. Tyler's hand found hers, their fingers interlacing. Ash came running back, crashing into them the way he never would have 6 months ago, confident he'd be caught, certain he belonged. "Can we have honey cakes for dinner?" "We're having an actual meal for dinner," Talia said. "With honey cakes for dessert," Tyler added, making Ash cheer. They headed inside together, bickering playfully about proper nutrition and the importance of vegetables. And Talia thought that this ordinary, chaotic, perfect moment was everything she'd been fighting for all along. Some curses broke cleanly, others left scars. But standing with her son's laughter echoing off the walls and her mate's heartbeat steady next to her, Talia knew one thing for certain. The best things in life were worth fighting for. Worth carrying 13 miles, even through the biggest blizzard of the season. Where are you listening from? Let's meet in the comments. I love hearing your thoughts, and if you'd like to support me, please subscribe. It's free, and it helps more people hear these stories.